Welcome to Millionaire Mindset, where we give you ways and advice to achieve financial freedom. In this video, we'll discuss how rich people use debt to make more money. It seems pretty strange, right? I know, but we'll go over how debt can be your friend and maybe help you achieve the goal that you have set for yourself. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell to get notified when we publish new videos. And be sure to watch the entire video to avoid missing any important details. Send us your questions and suggestions in the comment sections because we'd love to hear from you. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Why is debt a scary thing for most people? Has someone ever told you that getting into debt is slavery and that debt is the root of all evil? That may be true because when life throws you too many obstacles and you're drowning in debt, your life becomes a nightmare. In fact, debts are not waiting for you to pay them back. They are growing every single day, no matter how hard it may seem to be. In spite of these factors, the United States has welcomed them with open arms. The total United States consumer debt is nearly $15 trillion, which means that the average household owes over $5,300. The gross domestic product, or GDP, of the United States is around $21 trillion, meaning that our entire economy is built on these loans. But don't worry, because I have some good news for you. Debt isn't always that bad. Of course, there are many people who believe that debt is only bad. Certainly, you have some credit card debt, a car loan, and maybe even a student loan. And now you think it will take you years to pay all of that off. So how can that be good? To understand why that can be good, let's look at how rich people use debt to make even more money. This might sound strange because why would anyone with a lot of money use debt in the first place? That's something that a person with no money will do, right? But it isn't so. Debt is a powerful tool if you know how to use it. And in this video, you'll learn how rich people use it to make even more money. Number 1. Most of the trade is based on debt. It might sound controversial that you can borrow money to finance a business, but there are certain kinds of businesses, especially traditional businesses, in which borrowing will allow you to start up at minimal cost. Let's say you want to get into the notebook business. You'd have to go to China and find a factory that manufactures your notebooks with good quality and at the right price. You'd buy a container full of notebooks, say 100,000, and have them shipped here. Then you'd go online or through Alibaba and find buyers. But before you've paid for all those notebooks, you've already got them on hand. Let me explain how this works. In the past 50 years, China has become the world's manufacturing hub. Thousands of factories work non-stop to produce everything that the world needs. And because most of these factories are eager to sell their products in foreign markets, they're willing to lend their merchandise to foreign buyers. They will not loan their products to strangers, however, so you will have to build some kind of trust with them before they will do business with you. Once you have built that trust, you can begin to buy from them. You're basically telling the factory, you know how to produce it, I know how to sell it, let us work together. This allows mutual benefits with the manufacturer. That's why selling is one of the greatest skills anyone can ever master. Number 2. Refinancing. Real estate debt is more useful than other debts because it has many loopholes. If you don't have a mortgage, then you will have to pay extra taxes. Rich people always obtain several mortgages in order to be able to claim all of the deductions. Remember, every dollar that you're supposed to pay in taxes, but instead, save is another dollar earned. So that is another way rich people get richer. Let me give you an example. I saved $200,000. That's a lot of money, but I think most people would agree that it really is just a tiny drop in the bucket. You can't even buy a house, and if you've been watching the news lately, you know that to even get a mortgage these days, your down payment will have to be at least 20% of the purchase price. But here's the secret. If you find a great investment property whose value is $500,000 but needs some or maybe a lot of renovations, you head to a bank and get a mortgage by making 20% down payment. And then, you need to put in 10% of the purchase price to do the renovation. Let's say $50,000. You go back to the bank again, this time for refinancing. So when you bought the house using your first mortgage, it cost $500,000 and no one wanted to rent it out. It was such in bad condition that no one would live there. But after you renovated it, more people were interested because it had become attractive. The value of your home increased to $700,000. If you're going to get an 80% mortgage out of the $700,000, it will be $560,000. You took out $400,000 to pay your mortgage loan with an addition of $50,000 for the cost of renovation, leaving you with an extra profit of $110,000. You made $110,000 using your debt, and you're left with a property that you can rent out to build equity and generate passive income. That's not all. Taxes are not something you have to worry about because you have a mortgage loan. This is common practice among real estate investors who want to make money, both short-term and long-term with their properties. Number 3. Hedge funds. Hedge funds are made by the rich for the rich to make rich people richer, and they usually use unpopular strategies. In the human world, people like to make their best efforts to predict and have a good guess which companies are going to do well. We also like to invest the hard-earned money in the hopes that these companies will flourish. But you might be surprised if I tell you that hedge funds have a completely opposite strategy. They try to make money when companies fall. They maximize it when companies declare bankruptcy. One of the best examples is the case of GameStop. Although in that case, the internet challenged hedge funds and pushed them to lose over $13 billion. But how do hedge funds make money with debt? Apple, as one of the leading smartphone providers, announced that they will no longer let apps track your online activity. You will expect that many apps will be affected, one of which is Facebook and Instagram. At this point, you're already expecting Facebook's stock to decline as the newest release from Apple will be directly affecting Facebook's business model. Now you did what you have to do. You called your broker and borrowed from him a single Facebook stock, which is amounting to $100, and then posted in the open market to sell the Facebook stock $100. Congratulations! You now have $100 in your pocket after successfully selling the stock that you borrowed. The only thing that you need to do is pay your broker the one Facebook stock that you owe him. Come next week, your prediction was right. Facebook's announced that their stock dropped to $70. As you have $100, you use that to buy the $70 stock in Facebook and returned it to the broker. Now that the stock has been returned and you don't owe anything to your broker, the $30 difference will now be yours. Sounds simple, right? It may sound easy and simple in theory, but in reality, this is immensely difficult and the risks are too many. The factors you may want to consider before doing this is what if your prediction is wrong? What will happen if the price was doubled within a single night and you still have to return the stock you owed to your broker? Since the price was doubled, then you also have to return a $200 stock back to your broker, which may lead you to spend $100 extra for nothing. The amount that you invested in will also be the maximum that you can lose if you decide to buy a stock and sell it when it rises. But in the case of shorting, it is a different paradigm. If the price keeps on growing, then your losses keep rising too. In theory, you can make losses unlimitedly since the stock price can also rise indefinitely. Although if you have analysts working with you, you can surely make a lot of profit out of this strategy. Number 4. Forex. The foreign exchange market is where currencies are traded. This enables international trade to take place. For example, you can use US dollars in China. In order to pay your employees there, you have to buy Chinese yen with US dollars. So there's a market where anyone or any company can come in and purchase foreign currencies. And based on different factors, these currencies fluctuate. For example, if the Fed raises interest rates, this will limit the supply of dollars and will make them stronger against other currencies. Or conversely, if interest rates were lowered, this would lead to a weaker dollar. Based on this principle, it's possible to predict which currencies will rise or fall in the markets. But what makes these markets different from the rest is that for every dollar you use to trade in Forex, you can borrow an additional $100 which means that if you trade using your $1,000, you can hold a position worth $100,000. If you end up making a small profit like 1%, because let's say you made $10 per day, it would be huge. Number 5. Credit score. As you can see, debt is a powerful tool for businesses wanting to grow. Borrowing money to finance buy orders is a practice adopted by most businesses, particularly those which have proven business models in place. So stop thinking in terms of black and white when it comes to debt. Of course, debts with a high interest rate, such as credit card debts, are horrible and you should pay them off immediately. However, in order to obtain a lower interest rate, you have to establish yourself as a reliable borrower. Simply put, you must do whatever you can to protect the lender's money as a good borrower would. There are billions and trillions of dollars in the banks waiting for someone to borrow them. And even if there aren't any money, banks can create money out of thin air. Now maybe you're thinking, can this help me in any way? To me, money can be a means of trade. You have to exchange it for something valuable. If you have used your money for something that's not beneficial, then the loss will be on you. So focus on return on investment for debts instead of thinking about paying off your debts as soon as possible. Good debt will give you a better return than an investment with a high risk. It will be more secure, and if managed properly, the interest should outbalance its costs. If your debts don't give you any return on investment, consider getting rid of them and concentrate on things that provide long-term returns. That's all for now. Join us again next time here in Millionaire Mindset for another round of tips in achieving your financial freedom. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.